At 1:17 p.m., the fire department received a report of a fire at 614 Mays Street and dispatched a first alarm assignment. The first arriving company reported seeing dense black smoke pushing from the eaves and roof vents of the house. The first due engine company proceeded to the AD corner and forced open a door. Crews quickly discovered fire involved an area around the TV in the living room. The structure had minor smoke conditions with good visibility throughout the house. Units found heavy to moderate smoke conditions in the living room area, giving it near zero visibility. After crews mounted an interior attack, the fire was declared under control. While the lieutenant was completing paperwork and the crew reloaded the fire hose, dispatch issued a full alarm assignment to a structure fire with children trapped 3 blocks away. Crews quickly finished loading the hose and responded to the fire, leaving the scene unsecured. Upon my arrival to the scene, the family was gone, and I made entry into the structure to begin my investigation. As I was completing my investigation, the homeowners returned to the scene with their attorney. The attorney stated that I made entry into the residence without permission, and any and all evidence collected must be suppressed due to the chain of custody. The defendant's attorney stated the evidence obtained was in violation of the homeowner's constitutional rights, including the Fourth Amendment right against warrantless searches and seizures. I do not believe this to be true. The nature of the evidence collected shows a possible crime has been committed. The fire incident falls within the parameter of exigent circumstances. Emergency circumstances, including fire extinguishment, will authorize warrantless entry for cause and origin investigation. This can be noted in the holding of Michigan v. Tyler and the USA v. James Spatafor. When we look here, this is part of the summary from Michigan v. Tyler, a ruling made in 1978 that states a burning building clearly presents an exigency of sufficient proportions to render a warrantless entry reasonable, and once in the building to extinguish a blaze for a reasonable time thereafter, firefighters may seize evidence of arson that is in plain view and investigate the cause of the fire. Thus, no Fourth Amendment violations were committed by the fireman's entry to extinguish a blaze. Both holdings, stated in the prior sentence, relate how the current incident exigency is sufficient for a warrantless search and that no Fourth Amendment right was violated. In regards to the issue of chain of custody, my arrival at the scene was just a continuation of the original incident. The suppression company had to leave before the scene was released to me because of another fire call in their district. This is a valid reason to leave the scene after extinguishment of the fire, yet prior to my arrival and the release of the scene to me. Effort was made to contact the fire investigator and get to the scene as quickly as possible. Re-entry into the structure is justified as no investigation into the fire had been completed yet, and the re-entry was done within a reasonable time to the original incident. Both of these points are noted in the holding of State of Idaho versus Christian Reed Smith, and again in Michigan versus Tyler. Again, looking at some of the summary points from Michigan versus Tyler. On the facts of this case, moreover, no warrant was necessary for the morning re-entries of the building and seizure of evidence on January 22nd after 4 a.m. Departure of the fire chief and other personnel, since these were a continuation of the first entry, which was temporarily interrupted by poor visibility. And in State of Idaho versus Christian Reed Smith, the initial warrantless entry by Bluebaum was justified by exigent circumstances, and then the subsequent entry by Watson and Cox was a continuation of that entry. Both of these court cases show the exigent circumstances and why it was legal to gather that evidence. So in conclusion, examining similar cases and their holdings prove that the plaintiff's Fourth Amendment was not violated, and any evidence gathered from the scene should be permissible in court.